Patricia filed for Social Security at 62. Her financial advisor told her to wait. Her neighbor told her to wait. Every article she read told her to wait. She filed anyway. 7 years later, her husband passed away, and because she filed at 62, she had collected $176,000 in benefits that would have otherwise sat in a government pipe, unused, gone, while she waited for a larger check that she would have eventually received anyway. That $176,000 paid for 7 years of living, 7 years of not touching her savings, 7 years of not selling investments during a market downturn, 7 years of financial breathing room that the conventional wisdom would have taken from her. Here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. The title of this podcast is not a promise, it's a question. File at 62 and never worry about money again. Here's why. The answer is not always yes, but for more people than the financial industry will ever admit, the answer is yes. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly when and exactly why. Let's start with a mental model that changes everything. Think of your Social Security benefit as a faucet. Behind that faucet is a pipe, one you've been filling your entire working life, every paycheck, every tax contribution, 40 years of pressure building. Now, here's how it works. The longer you wait to turn the faucet on, the stronger the flow. Wait until 70, you get a powerful stream. Turn it on at 62, it's a lighter flow. But here's the part most people never ever think about. If you wait too long to turn it on, some of that water never reaches you. It stays in the pipe, unused, gone. There are no refunds, no second chances, no estate benefit. The government simply keeps it. So the real question is not when do I get the most per month? The real question is when do I turn the faucet on so I actually use what I spent a lifetime earning? Let me show you the numbers because this is where the conventional wisdom starts to crack. Meet Daniel. He had a solid career, final year income around $90,000. Daniel has 3 choices. He can file at 62 and get $2,238 per month. He can wait until his full retirement age of 67 and get $3,198 a month. Or he can wait until 70 and get $3,966 a month. At first glance, it seems obvious. Wait longer, get more. But that's not the whole story. The question isn't how much you get each month, it's how much you collect over your lifetime, and that's where everything shifts. If Daniel files at 62 and lives to be 84, he collects approximately $615,000 in total benefits. If he waits until 67, he collects less. Filing early leaves him $72,000 ahead. That surprises people because we've been conditioned to believe waiting is always better. But here's the brutal truth. Change Daniel's life expectancy by just 3 years, from 84 down to 81, and suddenly waiting until 67 becomes the better decision. Drop it to 78, and the optimal strategy might actually be 65, not 62, not 70, somewhere in the middle. This is the moment the illusion breaks. You think this decision is about choosing the best age. It's not. It's about not knowing how long you'll live. And no spreadsheet, no calculator, no advisor can solve that for you. That uncertainty is the entire game. And the financial industry has been quietly profiting from that uncertainty for decades. Think about this. The Social Security Administration once built a calculator to help people make this decision. Then they quietly removed it. Why? Because people were using it incorrectly. A tool designed to guide people through a life-defining financial decision became so misunderstood that the government took it away. And who benefits from that confusion? The financial advisory industry, which generates over $330 billion in annual fees, much of it from retirement planning. The more complex this decision feels, the more people pay for guidance. I'm not saying advisors are villains. I'm saying the incentive structure rewards complexity, and complexity is the enemy of the decision you actually need to make. So let me cut through it. Here are 7 situations where filing at 62 is not just acceptable, it's the smartest move you can make. Situation 1, your health or your family history. If your father didn't make it past 73, if your grandfather didn't make it past 71, if you've already had a serious health event yourself, then your personal timeline may not match the national averages, and those averages are what most financial advice is built on. Waiting for a larger monthly check only works if you're alive long enough to collect it. This isn't pessimism, it's realism. Situation 2, you want to enjoy retirement while you still can. Retirement doesn't happen in a straight line. There are the go-go years early on when you're active and energized. Then come the slow-go years, and finally the no-go years. So here's the question nobody asks. Is a dollar at age 63 the same as a dollar at age 83? Mathematically, yes, but experientially, not even close. A man I know did everything right, saved aggressively, retired at 72 with more money than he ever imagined. Within 2 years, his life became a series of doctor's appointments. The adventures he planned never happened. The money was there. The life he imagined using it for had changed. That's a timing mismatch. Situation 3, your spouse needs income now. If your spouse didn't work long enough for a strong benefit, they may be eligible for spousal benefits, up to 50% of yours. But here's the catch. They can't access that benefit until you file. You might be waiting patiently until 70 while your spouse receives nothing, zero, not because they don't qualify, but because you haven't flipped the switch. Filing early might optimize your entire household. Situation 4, your spouse has a serious health condition. This is where planning becomes deeply human. If your spouse is the higher earner and has a serious health issue, you should consider filing for your own benefit at 62. Collect something while your spouse is still alive. Then, when your spouse passes away, you can switch to their larger survivor benefit. You've created a bridge of income. It's a compassionate strategy. Remember Patricia? She collected $176,000 during those 7 years, money that would have stayed in the pipe. Situation 5, the stock market crashes. Imagine you've just retired, relying on your portfolio for income, and the market drops 40%. To generate cash, you have to sell investments at the worst possible time. This is called sequence of returns risk, and it's a retirement killer. If you file for Social Security early, you create a guaranteed income floor. You reduce or eliminate the need to sell investments during a downturn, giving your portfolio precious time to recover. Situation 6, the tax window. Up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can be taxable, but there's often a window in early retirement where your overall income is temporarily lower before required minimum distributions from your 401k kick in. If you file Social Security during that low-income window, your benefits may be taxed lightly or not at all. Wait until your 70s when those distributions push your income higher, and suddenly that same Social Security check is being taxed at a much higher rate. Filing earlier isn't just about collecting more, it's about keeping more. In Situation 7, you simply need the money. No complex strategy here, just reality. Medical bills, job loss, family responsibilities. In those moments, Social Security isn't just a benefit, it's a safety net, a foundation. It's the system designed to support you when you need it most. Taking it is not a mistake, it's using the system exactly as it was intended. Now, one more thing before we close. Every year, Social Security benefits are adjusted for inflation through the cost of living adjustment, or COLA. And this is where the math becomes quietly powerful for those who can wait. A 3% increase on a $4,000 benefit is a lot more than a 3% increase on a $2,000 benefit. Over time, that gap accelerates. When you model this properly, the difference between filing at 62 and waiting until 70 can exceed $246,000 over a lifetime. So if you're in excellent health, have strong savings, and your spouse also has a high benefit, waiting can act like a guaranteed 8% annual return. The answer is not always file at 62. The answer is to understand your situation well enough to know which answer is yours. So here's what I want you to walk away with. Not a formula, not a single correct age, a different relationship with this decision. Run your numbers, then change your life expectancy by 3 years in each direction. Watch how quickly the best answer changes. If it flips easily, that tells you something important. There is no single perfect decision, only a range of reasonable ones. Think as a household, not an individual. If you're married, your Social Security strategy is interconnected. Spousal benefits, survivor benefits, timing decisions, they all affect each other. And stay flexible. Your plan isn't set in stone. If the market shifts, if your health changes, if your income fluctuates, those are signals, moments to reassess, not to blindly follow a plan you made years ago. Patricia didn't file at 62 because she gave up. She filed because she understood her situation well enough to know that waiting wasn't right for her household. That's the difference between a financial decision and a financial strategy. A decision is reactive. A strategy is informed. You now have the information. The decision is yours. Subscribe to Money Machine. Next week, we'll cover the 3 Social Security mistakes that cost retirees on average $111,000 and the one filing decision most couples never think to coordinate. See you there.